Yeah,
And
can
actually
we
has the
talk about
original
that
logo.
one? And maybe Sammy can put that on the screen because how much did that Akira sell for?
Went
100,000?
No, it wasn't that much, but it was $78,000 or $79,000 plus
So same
buyer's
ballpark.
And we're
premium.
talking USD here too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so 100,000 Canadian essentially.
in Canadian, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in US dollars, yeah, the buyer's premium is 20% on top of that sale price. So, or 18%, I think. So like it wound up being like $84,000. And
Sammy, can you
so
zoom in
like
on that a little bit?
Yeah, let me get in a little closer.
so the one that I provided you guys in that set of three is a different shot than the one that's sold, but it's in the same sequence. I think the one that's sold is a little bit better because you get a little bit more of Kaneda's face.
Yeah, he's
But what
tilting
I
his head
like,
back a little bit more.
yeah. But now that that price has been established on those,
Yeah.
this second piece is probably that valuable. And
If not more
anything,
now because they set the market, right?
right. So if you were to have one that was even closer to that other shot, that's now $100,000 USD. Which places it where like 130 Canadian. So yeah, you're these types of record-setting prices haven't stopped, since the pandemic. I also write about comic book investments, and I write about graded comics and where to look, where to put your money. I write for Go Collect, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, this bubble's gonna pop," and I'm like, "What evidence is there that this is a bubble?" Because prices are constantly going up, and there's a new engine for why they're going up. In comics, it's because there's new Marvel projects every 2 months now that get people excited about the source material. There's a new movie now every 6 months, now that we're out of the pandemic, hopefully. And so there's a machine that makes people more interested. We're making more fans. It's not like the fan base is dropping off and going away, and you can point to the fact that circulation numbers are low, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's a good thing. That actually establishes value for what's coming out now, 10 and 20 years. Because a lot of the stories that are being told, like the Gore the God Butcher is going to be the villain of the next Thor movie. This is a new character. He's only been around for like 7-8 years. So you're having a modern influence come in, and it's going to continue to come in. With older stuff, it's just getting rarer. So with animation and production art that is being discarded, that is going bad in private collections, that is sticking together, like even people that do a good job of storing things, there have been, 10 major fires in California? Some of those people collected animation cells. Their houses went up in flames. Amazing collections went with it. Like I know some of the bigger collectors of cells that don't hit the market. I have access to some of that stuff occasionally, and people contact me and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm looking for this." I'm like, "Well, you got to let me know what your budget is, and you can't be lying to me. Like, what are you willing to pay? Because I'm not going to go ask this person who doesn't have a posted price, how much they want for something, because the answer is it's not for sale. But if you say I've got somebody and they're willing to pay $60,000 for this particular thing, is this for sale? They might go, yeah, I'll sell that. And it's like it's hard if it's not like a lot of collectors don't understand that nuance. To get the really good
Yeah.
stuff, you have to have access. It's like Gagosian Gallery, right? It's like you can't just walk in and buy, a Damien Hirst, from Gagosian. It's like you have to be on a list. They're gonna ask you, so what else you got in your collection? Like qualifying my money? It's like, yes, we're qualifying your money. We want these pieces to go into collections next to Basquiat, next to Picasso, next to big blue chip stuff. We don't want this to be the nicest piece in your collection. Like that's the kind of mentality. And with collectors who have great stuff, they're letting out key pieces because they have better pieces, but they're only letting go if it's if the price is right. They've had it this long, they'll continue to keep it. It's not what motivates them to keep or sell. They have means and they've got good stuff. And the fires were just heartbreaking because as I saw certain neighborhoods get ravaged on TV, I'm like, oh my God, I know so and so lives out there, and I know that they're not there now because in the pandemic you had to kind of isolate where you were, and some people decided, hey, it's getting pretty nutty in the US, I'm going to go someplace else, or I'm going to go to a different place in the US where it's a little easier to live a life. And so they weren't even around to be able to protect their stuff. And sure, there's insurance, but as you know, when you're talking in antiquities and valuables and collectibles, when they're gone, it's an almost unnameable loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what I
I was
find
going to
really-
ask.